Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial. In a previous video, we talked about how Battleship New Jersey was the most decorated battleship in history because of the various battle stars and combat ribbons that we received. Today, we're going to go through the 19 battles that USS New Jersey fought in using the obelisks erected here on the ship's long pier as a reference. There's one obelisk for each battle. Battleship New Jersey's first battle star came while she was the flagship of Admiral Raymond Spruance leading 5th Fleet. This was during the invasion of the Marshall Islands from January to March 1944. During this time, the fleet took Eniwetok and Kwajalein atolls. These atolls would later be used as bases for further island conquests. New Jersey would operate out of Eniwetok a lot throughout the rest of World War II. From February to May 1944, Battleship New Jersey was still the flagship of Admiral Spruance during the Asiatic Pacific raids. During this time, the fleet raided Palau Island, Wally, and Truk Lagoon. The raid on Truk Lagoon was the only time in history that Iowa-class battleships fired their guns on enemy warships. Otherwise, New Jersey was escorting the carriers. From April to May 1944, New Jersey participated in the Hollandia operation. She escorted carriers of the 5th Fleet during a number of strikes along New Guinea. From June to August of 1944, Battleship New Jersey operated in the Mariana Islands with 5th Fleet, escorting carriers and bombarding islands. During this time, the fleet took Saipan and Tinian and bombarded Guam and Palau. Also, the Battle of the Philippine Sea was fought, in which New Jersey escorted the carrier groups and engaged enemy aircraft attacking the fleet. This was the last time the Japanese carrier aircraft posed a severe threat to the U.S. fleet using conventional tactics. The battle would become known as the Marianas Turkey Shoot because Japanese pilots were not as well trained as experienced American pilots at this time, and most were shot down on the way in. During the Western Caroline operations, 5th Fleet turned into 3rd Fleet, and New Jersey became the flagship of Admiral William F. Halsey. During this operation, Halsey took 3rd Fleet to raid adjacent airfields on Manila, Formosa, and Okinawa to prevent them from supporting the forces defending the Caroline Islands. From October to December of 1944, New Jersey continued to be Admiral Halsey's flagship of 3rd Fleet. During this time, she was awarded a battle star for the invasion of Leyte and the Battle of Leyte Gulf. New Jersey was the flagship during this battle, which was, by some measures, the largest naval battle of all. In January 1945, New Jersey escorted carrier task groups, including the USS Lexington, on raids in the Philippines, China, Formosa, Okinawa, and of course the Philippine island of Luzon. Again, these raids on other islands were preventing Japanese aircraft there from disrupting the invasion of Luzon. By February of 1945, New Jersey was the flagship of Admiral Badger in command of Battleship Division 7. During this time, she escorted the aircraft carriers during their raids on Iwo Jima, which we were invading, and on the Japanese mainland. During the Okinawa Gunto operation in March and April of 1945, leading up to the actual invasion, New Jersey escorted the carrier task forces as they raided Okinawa. Her search planes helped rescue downed pilots, and she contributed to the shore bombardment of the island prior to the Easter Sunday, April Fool's Day invasion of Okinawa. Also during this time, she provided anti-aircraft screens to the carriers, protecting them against heavy Japanese kamikaze raids. Following the Okinawa campaign, Battleship New Jersey went back to the western coast of the United States to get a refit. By the time she came back to the Western Pacific, the Japanese had all but surrendered. She would take place in the occupation of Japan, but would see no more combat action during the war. Shortly after World War II, she was decommissioned and then reactivated for action in the Korean War just a few years later. From May to July of 1951, New Jersey bombarded Wonsan during the Communist Chinese Spring Offensive. During this time, she received fire from Communist shore batteries that resulted in light damage to the ship, but her only onboard combat fatality, Seaman Robert Osterwing. In July to November of 1951, Battleship New Jersey took part in the United Nations Summer and Fall Offensive, primarily around Kim Song. During this time period, she was both escorting carriers and providing shore bombardment. New Jersey was relieved off of Korea in late 1951 by the battleship Wisconsin. For some reason, all four Iowas were based out of Norfolk at this time, so she transitioned the Panama Canal back to Norfolk, did training, and then came back in 1953 for her second Korean War deployment. Her first operation during the second deployment was the third Korean Winter Operation in April of 1953. She provided shore bombardment primarily around Chongjin. New Jersey's final battle star for Korea took place May to July 1953, the Korean Summer-Fall operations, in which she bombarded Woo-sung Harbor and Hungnam. Battleship New Jersey was recommissioned in 1968 after a decade of being in mothballs. She went to service off Vietnam and earned 3 battle stars for it. Her first was September to November 1968, as soon as she arrived off the coast of Vietnam. This was the counteroffensive Phase 5. During this operation, Battleship New Jersey operated on both sides of the demilitarized zone, bombarding shore positions. From November of 1968 to February of 1969, Battleship New Jersey participated in the Vietnam Counter-Operation Phase 6, in which she operated off the coast of South Vietnam, supporting Allied troops ashore. From February to April of 1969, Battleship New Jersey participated in the Tet Counter-Offensive, in which American and Allied troops responded to the North Vietnamese Tet Offensive. This would be Battleship New Jersey's last combat operations in Vietnam. She returned to the United States for a refit. Captain Snyder was relieved by Captain Peniston, and the ship began preparations for a second deployment to Vietnam. Before that could happen, the battleship was chosen to be decommissioned. The American people were not willing to support the expense of the war anymore, and some people have claimed that the North Vietnamese themselves would not come to the negotiating tables during the Paris peace talks unless New Jersey was removed from service. Following reactivation in 1982, Battleship New Jersey was redirected to the Mediterranean Sea, where a UN peacekeeping force was trying to mediate in the Lebanese Civil War. While she was there, the Marine Corps barracks in Beirut were bombed, and one of her sailors, Chief Gorchinsky, was killed in the explosion. Battleship New Jersey would support UN peacekeeping missions by firing her 16-inch guns under rebel positions from September of 1983 until April of 1984. For this, she was awarded an Armed Forces Expeditionary Ribbon. In December of 1989, Battleship New Jersey became the first American battleship to operate in the Persian Gulf. While there, she was the flagship of Admiral John Paul Reason, commanding Cruiser and Destroyer Squadron 1. For this, she earned a second battle star onto her Armed Forces Expeditionary Ribbon. Also in December of 1989, Battleship New Jersey was awarded the National Defense Service Ribbon for operating in the Persian Gulf. While she was not there during the Persian Gulf War, she was there immediately leading up to it during the tension. And when she was replaced, battleships Missouri and Wisconsin came into the Persian Gulf and participated in the war. So, for those of you keeping count at home, Battleship New Jersey has 19 battle stars, 9 for operations during World War II, 2 each for 2 deployments during the Korean War, 3 for a single deployment during the Vietnam War, 1 for the Beirut barracks bombing, and 2 for operating in the Persian Gulf. Those last 3 all earned in the 1980s. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more content. If you have any questions, drop a comment down below. We'll try to answer it in future videos. And remember, if you would like to support the museum and our mission, check the description down below for ways to support us.